Oh my word. Oh, that is just glorious. What's happening, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Quizine TV, where we quiz the cuisine. And today our eating at home adventures continue. Today we are going to be trying some Portuguese cuisine. Portuguese. I'm super excited about this one. This is going to bring a lot of the traditional ingredients and flavors of Europe together, I think, but it's going to bring some of those spices, those flavors that we might find in other parts of the world. And I say that because Portuguese cuisine is obviously heavily influenced by some of the countries that Portugal once colonized. Now, even things like piri piri, for example, the chili, the spices, they would have picked those up from some of their colonial adventures. And the combination of all of these flavors and foods, I think, is going to be really quite nice. We're going to get the kind of, I think, bits of fruity flavor as well that you might expect from a country which produces so many kind of fruits and veg. Beautifully sunny Portugal will no doubt give us some of that. And there's also going to be so much seafood. Obviously, the Portuguese absolutely love fish. They love their seafood, and that's going to be certainly represented in the food that we have today. So I'm very excited about that. So this is going to be a really interesting one. I'm quite excited. We haven't really delved much into European cuisine. The place that we're going to is called Capricho. It's very close to my house, conveniently, so we're just driving there to collect the food, and we're going to take it back home before we absolutely maul it. Alright guys, so it's time to eat. I've got everything spread out in front of me and I am super excited. We're going to start with some chicken that we've got over here, and this isn't any chicken. This is a really special bit of chicken, because what we've actually got here is chicken breast that's cooked with peaches, and it's drizzled in a passion fruit and mango sauce. Now, I said earlier that Portugal obviously produces so many amazing exotic fruits, and they're basically using these fruits to really snazz up this dish. There's two types of people in this world when it comes to food. There's people who love mixing the sweet and the savory, and there's people who don't like it. Naeem's not so much a fan, I am. So I'm gonna absolutely love the whole fruity, passion fruit, mango, peach vibe going on with the chicken, I'm sure. All right, here goes. Oh my word. Oh, that is just glorious. That chicken is so thin, and because it's thin, it's allowed it to just cook through so nicely. And it's drizzled in that lovely fruity sauce. It's just a burst of fruity flavor, and it's got a lovely sweetness to it, almost like a syrupy texture. It's delicious, really nice, really sweet, really fruity, and it's the kind of mishmash of sweet and sour and savory that I absolutely love. This is really good. Right, now we mentioned obviously Portugal is just brilliant when it comes to different types of food, because they're in a traditional kind of European style. They love their steaks, they love their meats, but they also really love seafood, and that's because it's a sort of coastal country. They've got access to a lot of waters, and one of the sort of traditional dishes that we were told we've got to try at this restaurant is their octopus. They call it their Portuguese octopus. Now, if you have a look at this, you'll be able to see this is basically slow cooked octopus with some mussels in there too, and it's just sat on a bed of roast potatoes, and there's bell peppers in there as well. And there we go. Oh wow. Oh, you just can't beat that. Lovely slow cooked octopus. It's so meaty, it's so fleshy, It's got this beautiful texture to it. If you love seafood, you're gonna love octopus, the way these guys have cooked it. And it's drenched in this lovely oily Mediterranean style tomato sauce. There's onions in there that are slow cooked. You've got potatoes in there as well. It's just a lovely, lovely flavor. And adding to all of that is those mussels, which are so delicious, so meaty. The mussels really epitomize what seafood is like. They're pungent, they're strong, they've got a good kick to it, a little bit of saltiness. And all of that works so wonderfully well in this bowl. Oh my word, that is delicious. And they've got garlic in there as well, which adds a lovely flavor to it, or really binds everything and all those flavors together. That is wonderful. All right, we're gonna go for another seafood dish next. This is called the arroz de tamboril. Now, I've probably butchered that pronunciation, as I've done many a time in the past, but this is another lovely seafood dish that the Portuguese love. And this is great because it's almost like a stew, but within the stew is the rice. So you get a really mushy kind of rice, and chucked in there are some prawns, some clams, and monkfish. Monkfish is a wonderfully fleshy, meaty fish. It's one of my favorite fish, and it goes so well with rice, I find. And it does look a lot like paella, a sort of seafood paella, which neighboring Spain obviously adore. It's that lovely, watery, juicy rice. Here goes. Oh my word. This is seafood heaven. This is so good. That rice is in this seafood broth, almost like a seafood stock. So it's just soaking up all that wonderful flavor, and you're just getting the taste of the sea with every single bite. That monkfish is cooked so beautifully. It's so nice. It's soft, it kind of melts in your mouth, and it works so well with this fluffy rice, which is just submerged in that amazing fish broth. And the clams there, absolutely amazing. And the whole thing really is just a concoction of the sea. All sorts of seafood goodness in here. I gotta say, the Portuguese really know what they're doing when it comes to seafood. It was no wonder that once upon a time they were the rulers of the sea. Brilliant. All right, next up, we're gonna try perhaps a more common European dish. We'd expect to see this in sort of neighboring France or Germany within Europe, or even the UK. This is a traditional steak, sirloin steak, with a side order of potato, roast potato. And the great thing about this is it's just drizzled in this wonderful creamy mushroom sauce. And I guess the little thing that's different about the potatoes here is that they're sort of chunky, rustic potatoes that are coated in cinnamon. And I think that cinnamon is going to add a lovely sweetness to the potato as well, which is kind of different to the ways other Europeans might have this dish. And of course, that cinnamon and all sorts of other flavors the Portuguese will have acquired when they were colonizing much of the world through the seas. So they've adopted some of those flavors and integrated it into their classics. Oh my word. That is a really, really good bit of steak, I must say. Cooked to absolute perfection. The steak is wonderful and soft. It's creamy on the taste buds. And then it's lathered in that wonderful mushroom creamy sauce, which adds such a lovely texture and flavor to it all. And then you've got that egg, which is cooked so well that allows the yolk to just explode once you put your fork in it, which adds another dimension of creaminess to the dish. And those cinnamon potatoes are absolutely amazing. The potatoes cook so well, it's soft, it's absorbing those flavors from the steak and the mushroom sauce, and it's got the sort of pinch of cinnamon, which adds this lovely sweetness to the whole thing. It wouldn't be Portuguese cuisine if we weren't having piri-piri chicken. We've alluded to the history and the sort of progression of Portuguese food throughout time. And what I absolutely love about Portuguese food is they're not just masters of the sort of red meat, the steak that you expect to find across mainland Europe, which the Europeans absolutely love. They're not just masters of seafood, being a sort of coastal country surrounded by seas, surrounded by waters. They've also mastered how to make a really, really mean chicken. And the funny thing about piri piri chicken is if you ever make the mistake of saying Nando's or saying, oh, I've tried piri piri chicken, I've had it in Nando's, to a Portuguese person, they'll absolutely lose it. That's when the Portuguese people lose composure. So I'm hoping this is going to be much better than Nando's. I'm going to grab a wing. Oh, just look at that. You can see that it's got the perfect amount of oil and chili flakes on it, and it's got a beautiful layer of skin as well, which will no doubt provide that crispy texture, which I absolutely love. All right, Portuguese piri piri. Oh my God. The sauces, the juices there, so strong, so flavoursome. The chicken's just been left to absorb all those lovely oils, and it's cooked absolutely brilliantly. Soft, succulent, juicy on the inside, but that lovely layer of crisp on the outside, that crisp outer layer really takes it up a notch. It's just an explosion of flavours in your mouth. I would hands down have this chicken over Nando's chicken. This is Guarana. And this brings back such sweet memories of my trip to Brazil, because they had this drink absolutely everywhere. It's really one of the most popular drinks, and I absolutely loved it, so I made sure to drink it everywhere. And it turns out this restaurant also serve up Guarana. No surprise there. Obviously Brazil, Portugal, well connected through historical colonial links. So it's no surprise that these guys love this drink too. And what Guarana is it's effectively a form of plant. It's a climbing plant, which is native to the Amazon basin and is especially common in Brazil. They basically discovered that you can use this plant to make incredible fizzy drinks. They say the actual Guarana plant has 2 times more caffeine than that of a coffee seed. So you can imagine it's been used widely over the years, but it also just tastes fantastic, and I wish it was more widely available in the UK. I've tried this many a time. I haven't had it for a very long time, but let me just take a sip of this bad boy. Oh yeah, man, I could back this whole can so quickly. How do I describe the flavor to you guys? It's imagine a cross between a really sweet version of apple and cherry. That's kind of what it tastes like. It's very sweet, it's so lovely and fizzy. If you get the chance to have this thing, you've got to try it. It's delicious, and it's different. It's different from the stuff that we're used to drinking here in the UK. Give this a go, this is glorious. Right guys, the final dish I'm going to try is something so special, and it's got such an incredible story behind it as well, which always excites me. This is going to be a dessert dish that I'm going to have, and it's effectively a Portuguese dessert made from condensed milk and eggs. It's called the Baba de Camelo. Have a good look at it, and you'll be able to understand why it's been named what it's been named. Take a good look. Baba de Camelo means camel drool. That's right, camel drool. And it looks a bit like camel drool in that it doesn't look that appetizing. Now the story behind this is that once a woman sort of late at night got visitors that she wasn't expecting. This is a Portuguese woman. Some people say her name was Valentina. So anyway, she gets a knock on the doors, guests arrive, and she went into a state of panic because she had nothing to feed them. So she improvised in the kitchen to come up with some sort of sweet dessert. She put together what she could, but she didn't actually have enough to feed her guests. So, legend has it, in an attempt to deter some of them from trying it, she called this camel drool. And the brave amongst that group who went ahead and tried it were actually really pleasantly surprised. Oh, that's delicious. I've never been averse to slime, as you guys know. and it's got that lovely crumbly biscuit texture at the top, so it's a nice mix. This lovely caramel flavor to the gooey condensed milk. It's really, really delicious, really sweet, really satisfying, and actually it's kind of like a mousse, a bit less fluffy than a mousse you might be used to having. Right guys, I am done. I'm finished my meal. It was absolutely delicious. Portuguese food, wow. Amazing food, so diverse in its flavors, its ingredients, its texture. Really fantastic. I would strongly recommend that to everyone. If you haven't tried Portuguese food, make sure you do. They've mastered the art of cooking good fish and seafood, mastered the art of cooking good steaks, and they know how to make mean grilled chicken. And of course, you can even find some Guarana, perhaps one of my favorite drinks in the world. This has been our cuisine episode looking into Portuguese cuisine. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you're gonna try some Portuguese cuisine yourself now. If you've liked this video, please make sure to like, comment and subscribe to our channel. Share this video with everyone you know. We want to get our subscribers up as quickly as possible, and make sure to check us out on our social media platforms too. Give us a like on Facebook, give us a follow on Instagram, and give us a follow on TikTok as well. I hope you've enjoyed this video. We'll see you again next time. For now, bye.